Yo, what's going on, boys? It's your man back with something other than FNAF, which I know a lot of people were wanting some more FNAF, but I think I might have, maybe I shouldn't have uploaded all four one after the other. Maybe I should have sprinkled something else in between, but I was excited. What can I say? So, today we have another NECA figure, going back to pretty much what I was doing right before the FNAF. Today we have Casey Jones. Now, you may be thinking, where's the other Ninja Turtle? Well, my plan is I'm going to release them both as two separate videos because I think that the quality would be way better if I did one and then the other. Because I feel like when I do multiple figures, I rush and I don't like the quality. So I'm going to be releasing them as two to get the best quality reviews I can. So we have Casey here. Now this is from the NECA Ninja Turtles movie line, and these figures, people have been killing each other for them, and I can 100% see why. These are great figures. These might be, I know I don't get a lot of NECA stuff, but I'm starting to, and I'm starting to think these might be the best line, because once we get into it, accessories, all that stuff, it's unbelievable. So, we'll bring them up close for some paint and sculpt. I think the sculpt on the face mask is really good. I'm thinking it's obviously a reference to Jason Voorhees, you know, the hockey mask killer. I think it looks really good too. The only problem I have with it, which really isn't a problem because I'm not sure if NECA is going to be releasing one, but it's if this mask were to be able to come off, because you can't have an unmasked Casey Jones, and I kind of wanted that. I like being able to have the option. But even without it, I think it looks good. Because I saw on NECA's Instagram, they posted a picture with an unmasked Casey Jones. I don't know if they're going to release one or what, but look forward for it. But you can see he's got all nice details on his chest. He looks all sweaty and gross. The paint on the skin tone looks really good. You can even see the in-sculpt for some hair on the arms. You can see the sculpt for the hair on the chest. I think it's just a lot of high detail, and it looks really, really good. And I think the vest looks good. It's got all the details cleanly done. Like those buttons on the side, that's unbelievable. Those are clean. And like usual, the upper torso is like an overlay over the articulation. Most NECA figures are. You can see there's some rough paint there. But that's what happens when you have something like this rubbing on him like that. You will get paint rub. So if you do it, be careful. Or if you find one in the store, look for the one without the paint rub. The pants look really good too. They're probably the most bland part, just plain gray pants. Not a lot of detail, but they still look very good. Then you got the kicks, you know, some high tops. And even with these, the articulation isn't that badly inhibited. Not that there is much to begin with, but it's not bad. So standing him up straight, not bad. For articulation, yeah, I got a little messed up there, sorry about that. But paint and sculpt, before I pass over it, is really good. The only thing I would worry about is, again, paint rub, because you can obviously see it there. It's very clear. It's white on with blue on it. That looks absolutely terrible. But that's why you got to be careful and look at the figures before you buy them, which we did. There were two, and we chose this one. But what are you gonna do? So for articulation, I think this figure shines in some of the articulation points. Bring him here at the head. He looks up as far as he can with his hair. He looks down pretty decently. He's got a little bit of a pivot side to side. It's a ball joint, so you get all the movement you could want. At the shoulder here, it moves forward. A little bit above 90, comes down. Of course, you're all around. I would say be careful with this, because this vest could rub off onto the shoulder, and that's just about the last thing you'd want. There is no bicep swivel, but instead, at the double jointed elbow, there is a swivel here, like a couple of the other NECA figures. I think this is what they're doing instead of bicep swivel. I don't know if I'm a fan or not. It gets the job done, but it looks a little weird sometimes. But, you know. It also spins at this bottom piece. There's a rotation. And then at the hand, there's an up, a down, and of course, your left to right. Second, let me just move that. All right. So at the waist here, there is something here, maybe a ball joint that's in the way. You get slight waist movement, of course, a little bit of side to side. At the hips, even with the kind of plastic in the way, you still get good articulation. Kicks forward that far. Back, all right. Out to the side, actually pretty decently. A little clicky, so be careful. You don't want to break it. At the knee, there's a bend. And instead of some sort of thigh swivel, of course, there's your swivel at the knee. Then at the feet coming down here, they move back pretty decently. Actually, you can see the detail for the sock in there. I really like that. I think NECA does very, very good jobs at their small details like socks, gloves, all that stuff. But even with the sock and glove, you can move forward, or not just sock, move forward or back that far, forward pretty decently, and you get, it's really tough pivot. It's like a figurized joint where it's the peg going into the foot, so it moves on an angle. And it's all right. The shoe and the pants kind of inhibit it, but with it, you can get your poses. He can stand up pretty easily. So even with that, it's not the worst. It still gets the job done again, which I think NECA does a lot, is just get the job done. And sometimes I think it works good enough the way they do it. It fits. And sometimes, like, I think these feet, they're terrible. When I first got the figure, I thought he didn't have any ankle pivot, because usually NECA figures are like the ball joint where it goes left and right, instead of these ones where it's kind of forward and back, side to side with it, instead of just clean side to side. But if at least they give him an ankle pivot at all, because NECA figures, the few I have that don't have ankle pivot, oh boy, it's tough. It is tough. But so moving on to probably now the #1 reason that I kind of, well, I didn't buy this. If you know, you know. Shout out to Justin. Shout out to him for purchasing this. We kind of split it, but that's what I think the best part of this figure is, the accessories. They're just amazing. They're just amazing. You know what? Let's get to it. So we'll start with just the hands to get them out of the way. Comes with your usual open gripping hand, and all the hands have the gloves with the kind of dots on the back. There are no like skin tone hands or anything. They're all the ones with the gloves. So you got your loose gripping hand. Then of course you got your tighter gripping hand, which is really good because some of these accessories get small. You need the different sizes. We have this kind of, I wasn't sure if this was like a taunting hand, like a, yeah, come here, or if it's something, you can use it for both. You could have them taunting or like holding the weapon, which they fit in very nice. I actually really do like this hand. I feel like it's something different. You usually don't get a hand like this with a lot of figures, and I feel like it's something cool to have. So for the final different hand, because of course you get these hands for both sides, except for this one you only get this side, and then for this pointer hand you only get it on one side, or maybe a finger gun or something. But I really like this hand. This hand is good to convey emotion. Well, not emotion, but like character. You can get a lot of good character stuff with this. And I think it also helps a lot for, like, if you set up the Ninja Turtle, or if you set him up fighting Raphael, you could have him, like, yo, pointing at him, holding something on his shoulder. I think it just looks very good. And I am very happy with the amount of hands that they gave this guy, because with the amount of stuff he has, you can just get, it's like, the posability is endless, which I really, really like. So we'll get the kind of weird thing out of the way first. He comes with a slice of pizza. Now, I was considering, do I put this with the Ninja Turtle, or do I put it with the dude? And I decided, why not just do it with him? Looks like something on there, olives maybe? Olives and something? It's a very nice pizza. It reminds me a lot of the Pizza Spider-Man pizza from Marvel Legends. I don't have that, but it reminds me of it. Except this one is flat. It fits nicely, and like, if you got this hand, have him grabbing it, maybe handing it to someone, eating it. I don't know. I think it looks really good, and it is just a nice little accessory. So if you ever have someone you want a piece of pizza, maybe Spider-Man, you can use it. So now, moving on to the good stuff. We'll start with the hockey stick first. So you can see, nice hockey stick, and it looks realistic. I like how realistic they made it look. And I feel like a lot of the best stuff is on the wrapping. I feel like the wrapping looks really good. Let me get it so you can see there. I think all the wood looks really good. In NECA, they are probably one of the best. Close behind, I think, to Mezco, with just great accessories. And the best part about them is a lot of these accessories aren't even strict to only Casey Jones. Like, anybody can use a hockey stick. One problem, though, with this, again, is paint rub. I'd say be very careful. You can see I put it in his hand and it scraped off the black paint. You gotta be very, very careful. With these things, a lot of the paint is kind of fragile, and it will get scraped off, so just be very, very careful. So, moving on to the next, we're just going to one-up that hockey stick with this one. Now, this one, we'll do a little size comparison. This one is huge. This is the big mama of hockey sticks. And now this one, I think they made it a little bit flexible so that it's not breaking, but I'd say don't even mess with it, because why mess it up? You can see it says something on there, got some more tape wrapped around it. This one, the weathering looks even better on the tape, and I've had no real issues with paint rub on this one, because this one is really good. There's not like black on it or anything, so it's not going to scrape off easily. And I feel like the wood texture is good too. Definitely nice. One more look at the handle there. One problem I would say is that a lot of these handles are a lot thicker at the bottom, so you can't really slide them in. You really have to open the hand and put it in, which I didn't do that, and that's how I got the paint rub on the other one. So next, the name of the sport slips my mind, but we got another sort of wooden bat. Might be I think it's in Dying Light, maybe something from Dying Light, but it's a nice bat. This one has some nice detail too with the black wrapping. I wish they would have either stuck to all black or all white, because it's kind of weird having two with the black wrapping and then one with the white. It kind of doesn't make any sense, but maybe he was using white tape at the time. So wait, wrong one. Oops. This one, yes. I think this one looks good too. Not much to say that's different from the other ones. Nice little line there on both sides, kind of clean. This one is probably the easiest one to get in the hand because there's nothing at the bottom. And this one's kind of the lamest. I feel like definitely out of all of his accessories, this one is the lamest. So you know what? Move on to the next one. We'll save one of the best for last. He comes with Jose Canseco bat or something. I watched the fight scene. That might be his name. If you're watching, shout out to him. Thank you for this baseball bat. But he does come with two. I was thinking maybe give one to Raph and one to Casey, but I just decided to do them both in one. Maybe I'll look at them again in the next one again. Who cares? They both use the bats. If you haven't watched the fight scene in that movie, I 100% recommend it. Definitely a funny fight scene. And surprisingly, I'm not really sure who wins. I would kind of say Casey, kind of say Raphael, but I don't know. So next accessory, probably my favorite, is the golf club. I think the detail on this thing looks great. I feel like they put so much into it and it just turned out amazing. The handle looks good. The silver on the handle looks good. I think the shiny black of the head looks great too. And this one, it's definitely funny. It's real floppy. I really like it's floppy. And I think that'll definitely help it from breaking. But even with that, I would be very, very careful with this because it is so thin, it could just snap like nothing. But it is the coolest, I think. And this is why he has the smaller hands for gripping, is because he needs that for holding this skinny thing. And I think a lot of figures are going to have trouble holding this unless it's another NECA figure or something that comes with a tight grip hand, because this is very thin. So if you're getting it to display with other things, keep that in mind. Now, the last accessory, it's also a great one, is his little sack here. Would you call it a sack? It's sack. He's got a nice little sack. And everything fits in this. You can literally just load it all up. You can store pretty much every single weapon he comes with in it, which is very good, because if you don't want to have him holding the weapon, maybe doing something, you can just stick it all in this sack. And even, you know what? The sack stands up. That's great. I really like this accessory too. I think let me dump it out. I think it's good for like ACBA. If you wanted to give literally any character this, give it to like Venom or something, walking away, leaving New York. Literally, the options for this stuff are endless, with the figure and without, which I like even more. I feel like it definitely gives you your money's worth. And the paint on this is pretty good too. The strap, it doesn't seem like it'll break. I've been using it for a while, and it comes wrapped around it like that. You got to kind of break it out and stretch it and kind of mold it into looking straight. But once you get it out and used to being open like this, it looks really good, and it holds stuff really good. They stick inside. Like if I just had this thing, it doesn't fall out. And I don't think it'll really weigh them down enough where having everything in it will make the figure unbalanced, which is another plus. And I think overall, this 2-pack, well, I'm not sure how I'm going to put it up. I might just put up 1-pack, or, well, not 1-pack, but just the figure alone, or maybe the 2-pack, I'm not sure. But I think that makes it even more useful, even more usable, posable, worth the money. which is great if you can find it for retail because it's expensive. All right, so now that we've got all the accessories out of the way, which I think the best part are, we're going to move on to some comparisons. So we'll stand him up in the middle. And I really don't have a lot of decent things to compare him to. It's just kind of going to be other NECA figures. So iconic Jason, you got to just have a Jason. Figure from the, might have been the last review, we got Doc Brown. Last NECA review. And then as my other NECA, we've got Ghostface. Now let me scoot these guys over. And it's like I said, in literally I think every one of these reviews of these figures, is that they look good together. I think he fits right in. Even being a Ninja Turtle character, like not really fitting in the horror genre, Doc Brown doesn't either, but I think they still all look together. Like you could literally put all these figures together and you'd say, hey, are those from like a game or something? Is there a Nicktoons Unite for random characters like this? I think it's just great. And I think he fits right in. He falls in place and he sticks out definitely. If you have him holding a huge hockey club, did I call it a hockey club? Is it a hockey club or a hockey stick? Yeah, that. I'm a little slow, sorry. But if you have him holding that, he'll stick out nice. You could say he might stick in with the Jasons because he's just another masked fiend. But I think he does look different enough to stick out. He looks like an evil biker or something. And I think he definitely is worth it to add to the collection, especially if you're a Ninja Turtles fan, because he is a great figure if you're a fan of the movie, which I can say I am. That's a classic movie from the childhood. Great movie. So bringing him in, and now doing the last part, which is kind of, I usually do one figure at the end that I'm going to do next, but today we got two. We got a double reveal. So first, obviously the next review is going to be of Raphael looking dirty in the trench coat. You couldn't even tell it was him. Never mind. And then the review after, not sure when it's going to go up because this is being filmed right now. It is, I think, the Chocolate Chica video just went up. So sometime around then, it'll probably be the exclusive Bonnie, then this review, so soon. But then after all this, we've got Shf Bardock. I'm hyped to review this guy. He's a tremendous figure. And you can see, I think this is where he gets in. He fits at home right next to Raphael. They look like they could start fighting at any second now. And I think if you pose them fighting, which it does in the box, it'll definitely look good. Oh, I just forgot. Let me move these guys out of the way. A little bit of a mistake. I forgot to show the box, which, you know, isn't that bad. No, it could have been. I remember one video I missed the whole articulation section, and I was like, why is this video so short? That was why. But to show the box here, it's the 2-pack box, and I really like the way it looks. Hey, you can see my hands. Yo, hi. I think this looks great. I like the faces, the design with the Ninja Turtles coming out. The logo all looks good. Casey Jones. And if you see this in person or anything, pick it up immediately. It is 100% worth it. Got some product shots in the back there. As you can see, like I was saying, if you set them up fighting, they look great together. And I think even with the trench coat on the Raph, it's still a good figure. I don't think that really inhibits much. And as you can see, they both have the bat, which I wasn't sure because he's got two there, but then he's got one I didn't know who to put it with. So, moving out the box, I gotta say thank you guys so much for watching. Messed up a little bit there at the end, but what are you gonna do? You live and you learn. Don't forget the box. But thank you guys so much for watching. The next review after this will be the Raphael, and then we'll go from there, probably Bardock. And I got a couple of other figures in the back I'm going to review. Don't want to spoil nothing. But thank you guys so much for watching. Great figure, 100% recommend. And I'll see you guys next time when we review the Big Turtle.